Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Hockey Pool. I'm Andrew, and I'm going to take you through how to set up your live drafts so that you, as administrator, can enter the players and all of your poolies can watch as those drafts are being done and have their player lists, have those drafted players removed from their player lists as they're watching. So let me take you through how to do this. This is the new way to set up the Hockey Pool, your Hockey Pool. All right, let me share my screen here. All right. What you're seeing now is the administration page after you logged in. This pool login ID I created is called Testino. This will be whatever you've chosen your pool login ID to be. In the past, you may have gone to initialize and edit pool to select your players, set up your teams, having done like a draft on paper first and then entered it by hand. I think from now on, you're going to want to do the live draft way to enter pools. So let's go to live draft. Ding. There we go. So the very first thing you're going to see on the live draft is this page. But even before then, you might have had poolies who are like now waiting, saying, "Hey, I want to join the live draft. When can I do that?" You can just give them your pool login ID. They can go to the Hockey Pool's main page, click on Live Draft up here, enter the name of your pool and log in, and they're going to get this fun little waiting screen. It's going to have this little spinning hockey stick. It's going to check every 30 seconds to see if the live draft has started. If if that 30-second timer has just started and they're kind of like they don't want to wait 30 seconds because they know the live draft has started, they can ask to check now by clicking check now. Of course, the pool is not started yet, so it's just going to stay in this spinning and waiting mode. So let's go back to what you're doing as administrator here. But if you forgot something, you want to return to the main page, the administration page, you can click on this link right here. By default, snake order is the order you draft in. That means you go from, when you select who's going to select in what order, you go from first to last. And then the next round, round two, you go from last to first and then first to last. This kind of gives the person who's drafting last a little bit a better chance to match the people that are drafting first, that take a Kucherov or a Draisaitl or something, McDavid. They're going to get still some good players kind of up there in the scoring race as well, so that they have a fighting chance against those who draft first. So we recommend that. If you have a keeper league, you might do it the way the NHL does. You have a ladder order where you draft first to last, first to last, first to last every round. You can make that change there. I'm just going to leave this a snake draft because that's the best default way to do it. Here we've got 6 Pooley teams currently picked. If I made a mistake and I really want 7, I can update that here. You will also see that by default there's passwords for each of these teams. I'm going to just create random passwords. So that's a little bit better way to do it. You can actually see that there's random passwords there. And once you've got a random password selected, you can click this again, and the random passwords are not going to change again. But if you did, say, add another player later on, oh, I already did it for player 8, so let's go player 9. And it came up with a default password. If you create random passwords, you'll notice this is QLF still, and the team 9 now has a new random password. So I'm going to just put this back down to 6 again. Get rid of those. Now, it's not going to like no one as a team name, and you're going to want to put in whatever your player team names are. And I'm going to create some random ones right now. There we go. You might also have done a mode where to decide who drafts in what spot, you picked cards, you flipped coins, whatever method you used offline to do that. You can certainly enter the team names in the order that you've picked offline if you want, or you can click on this randomized team order thing, and it's going to use whatever random seed it found from the internet to create a random order for your teams. And once you do that, you can't then edit the team names because no one wants to see you as administrator, find yourself suddenly in last place, but then editing the team names to put yourself in first place. So that keeps you a little bit honest there. And then you're ready to start live draft. So you can see your poolies are over here. They're still waiting for the live draft to start. Let's start it. Start the live draft. And within seconds here, well, let's check now. There we go. They're seeing what you're seeing. With the exception that you as administrator have the ability to type names in here or to make draft selections, whereas they can just see the UI for this order. So let's go ahead, and Duo wants to pick Kucherov. And you can see within seconds, we're updated on the view pool to see that Kucherov's picked. And we can go McKinnon, we can go Draisaitl. Now, if you don't know if you can't find the player in the list to draft, to click on the draft button, you are also able to type the name in here. So say you can't find Makar, but you want to get Cale Makar, there you go. Just make sure this little square bracketed number there is in that, and then hit return. And then Kale's gone, and Kale's gone from the list down here. And similarly here, Kale has been selected. So let's say you go on drafting and someone picks Hagel, someone picks Clayton, someone picks Crosby, and then Trey goes, wait a second, Hagel's injured, right? You can see that they're injured. They've got this injury report here when you hover over them, as does anyone who's yellow in the list down here. And you can see the entire list of injured players that we know of way down here at the bottom of the page. So if you really wanted to go deep, you can. But they say, wait a second, I didn't mean to pick Hagel because he's out for the season. I didn't know that. Can I do the pick over? And everybody in your pool goes, yeah, yeah, sure you can. There's this little edit flag here, so you're able to go back and say, okay, I'm going to edit this Brandon Hagel, and instead of him, I'm going to pick Nick Suzuki. So there you go, Nick Suzuki, and then you're back to wherever you were drafting in that order again. So you can continue like that. Now, let's say someone says, "Oh, I want to pick the top player from Utah right now," and you don't know what the Utah list is. You can click on Utah down here, and you'll see all the players currently on the roster for Utah that we know of, including what team they were on last year. So you can see Brandon Tanev was traded sometime this year. You might want to pick them, but anyways, I'm going to just pick Cooley from them right now, and you can continue in that way. Now, as your poolies are watching this draft, they may not want to just go from the top point scorers here. They might want to look at who the top scorer is on a particular team. They can click on this button here, open up this other window, which will also update as players are selected. So, for example, you can see that Granlund is here at the top. If I go back and Granlund is selected, go. So we'll select him. It's updated here. And you'll see Granlund is no longer the top player on Anaheim. So this list will update interactively as players are selected from teams. They will come off of this list, and you can see it is super extensive. It's kind of got everybody who scored a point for the team last year on the roster there. I think if a player played a game but did not score a point, it won't show up on the roster here. Contact us if you think that should be different. If you really want to see players that didn't score any goals but played games, we can extend it to that played that played games but didn't score any points. We can extend it to add that. Of course, you've also got goalies down here if you wanted to see the goalies that are currently on the roster that had points last year. This again, I think if they didn't get any points, they don't appear here. They didn't get any wins. So there you go. We think that is super, super helpful. Oh, yes. And so I'm just going to go through, and I'm just going to very, very quickly complete this draft here. So, we're going through. Everybody's happy. Hagel, yeah, he's coming back in time, so I'm going to draft him. Same with Bratt. Should be ready by the start of the season. We'll go through, go through, go through, and you can see that this thing is updating for the people viewing it very, very quickly. Here we go. Almost there, almost there, almost to the end of the pool. Drafting, and then the last pick overall, taking us home. Austin Matthews goes last. Now, something new this year is that we say, hey, there's been a number of pools where people have tied in the standings after the very last game of the season. And so this is the time to talk to your poolies and decide, well, what is our tiebreaker going to be? We have some suggestions here, like you're just going to split the pot, or you're going to take the highest overall shooting percentage, or most goals, then most games played, then fewest penalty minutes, and then if still tied, have a staring contest. Whatever you decide the outcome should be here, you can select. So I'm just going to select this and record the tiebreaker. That's done. Live draft view, you can see the team is all finished here. Your players can admire, your poolies can admire the selections here. But if they want to go down to see the daily stats page, just scroll all the way to the bottom, view your pool. There you go. You've got your team selected. You're ready to go. Um, Teams, I can't remember the passwords right now, but if you've given the passwords to your teams, and actually here we can find out this way. So I can go to configure trash talk, and then I can find out or remember what the passwords were if I need to send it out again. And again, I can add emails here at some point in the near future, and maybe even by the time the 25-26 draft is upon you, we may have the ability to put in emails for everybody here and then press a button to email them all their individual passwords for their team. In the meantime, you could just send them an email or text them or however you want to communicate it to them that that is their password. So I'm going to say Duo's got that password. I'm going back here and I'm going to say, hey, if I'm Team Duo and I want to edit my trash talk, I'm just going to paste that login in there and I'll be able to request a trade if I'd like. I can change my password to something more personal. I can put a headline in. Headlines are printed for the team with the most points last night and a points per game of over zero point 0.8 and the highest points percentage of anyone tied with them. So, or points per game of anyone tied with them. The reason it does that kind of limit is that you may have gotten 12 points, but if you had like 30 players playing last night, well, that's not as good as someone that had, 8 players playing and got 8 points. So even though the other person got more points, you got like a point from, fewer players, more points per game. Anyways, you can sort your player list. So the default sorting is by team to start with, so that you will get the group, Anaheim, and then what's after that? Boston? I can't remember. You know what I mean? Sort by points, sort by draft order. So if you want to know, see it in the rounds that you drafted. If you want to sort by player type, points per game, active or dropped. If you have trades inside your season, you can sort by that. And then a trash talk. Trash talk will be printed. You guys are going down. So you can say, whatever you go there, return to the daily stats page, and you're going to see I've got it set so that there's a crawl across the top that will give the trash talk. You can see it down here. You guys are going down. It tells you when it was posted. Um, and and yeah, and as more people add, this will continue to go and it will show the most recent postings of trash talk from each one of your teams, your Pooley teams. You can see any trade history here. There's so much stuff. Any questions? Give us a shout. Stop sharing. There we go. We want to make your hockey pool the hockey pool.